Hello and welcome to Quantum Leaders. My name is Vitali and this is CEO Insights. It is a place where we view the living organization, an organization that is a living being to be developed as opposed to a machine to be programmed. This is the fundamental view that we take of our own organization. And from that point of view today, I want to talk about energy. I want to talk about organization as an energy field. My first degree is in engineering. I studied quantum physics, and so I spent a lot of time understanding energy fields. So it dawned to me and many others, my business partner and many others, that organization is actually an energy vortex, if you think about it. Now, the original spark, the Big Bang, if you like, was created by the founder who had an idea, sometimes a crazy idea about a product or a service. Around that idea, seems like nothing, a whole bunch of people have grouped together and started to produce products and services. So from what seemed to be nothing, just an idea, created something, which is a product of value to the customer. Now, of course, many of those ideas have fallen by the wayside. In fact, statistics is 9 out of 10 startups fall for whatever reason. Maybe the idea was fantastic, but often the execution was not up to par. Maybe the market was not ready for the idea. There are many reasons why a startup would fail. But what I want to talk to you about today is what happens when an organization is made it through the first trial period and then matures and starts to have problems, in particular problems around alignment. What happens to the energy field of this organization? Well, if you view the organization, as I said, as a living being or as an energy field, a bunch of living beings come together and they form a certain alignment, a certain frequency, a certain coherent frequency. Now, at the start, usually it's very tight. As a startup, everybody's working together towards common good, towards a vision, and everybody's multitasking. So things are good because, it's a small organization and there's a lot of alignment. But as the organization grows into its departments and formalizes into different divisions and teams and marketing and sales, now we create specializations. What we start getting silos. Okay, it's just a natural occurrence. When you have 10, 20 people, it's easy to know everybody. When you have 200, 300, 500 people or 1,000 people in an organization, you can see how it's very easy for the silos to form and the energy field becomes dispersed. So unlike a laser field at the start, where everybody's really focused on one thing and speaking the same language and energetically aligned, the same frequency, is operating on the same frequency. Now we're starting operating on multiple frequencies. The sales department believe the way they do things is the most important. Ops thinks, the sales department is way too selling something they can't deliver. And the sales department thinks the R&D is way too, or ops is very too conservative and focused inwardly rather than outwardly. And so it goes, right? There are different interests. And it's supposed to be like that because if you look at organization as a living being within a living being, then each department is its own unique living being, its own personality. And now we have a way to understand why organizations are conflicting on the inside, and now we have a way to alignment. In psychology, in group psychology, we often use personality assessment and mapping and understanding of why certain people, when they come together, naturally form conflict, and also understanding how to build harmony by combining the opposites into a uniform field. So this is a field of social science and psychology. So what we've done is we have studied that and brought it into the business background. So now what we can do, right, and we still take into account, all the business management tools, the SWOT analysis, the balanced scorecard, the objective management, etc., right? But now what we have is an additional insight, and now we can take a sales department who is in conflict with ops, and we can explain to them how they're two different living beings. We can map out their personality. One is an introvert, the other one is an extrovert. It naturally creates conflict. We are they're at ease because they understand that this is just two different beings, just like a brother and sister is always fighting, and they're just different personality. But we have to be all part of the same family. And so how do we live with each other? And in fact, how do we honor each other differences? Because those differences are there for a reason. A sales department that's overly introverted and inwardly focused is going to have a difficult time because they need to be out there serving clients and thinking towards customer service, really being outwardly focused. An ops department that is too extroverted and not focused on operational excellence also is a problem, right? So they're naturally supposed to be focused on different parts of the personality. But what happens is if we don't honor those differences, if we don't understand how to resolve those conflicts, then we start having problems in communication. Then we start having problems in internal politics. Then we start having problems in terms of it's only about me and my department, and we simply don't understand each other. And the harmonic frequencies are not there anymore. The laser beam becomes dispersed into white light, and we can no longer have a high performance organization. So what do? Essentially, what we need to do is bring back, even if it's a large organization, start aligning the organization around the vision, values, purpose, around the common story of the organization. And that is the role of a senior management, right? There is no bigger role. In fact, as you go up in management, as you go up in senior management, you will find that your biggest skill level needs to be alignment around a common story, not so much around tactical work and KPI measurements and setting targets and so on. That can be done by junior management, actually, if the system is there. The role of the CEO and the senior management is to align people around common vision, common story, give the company a strategic direction, and then stand by it wholeheartedly and be consistent in how the company behaves, how the company rewards, the kind of structures and rituals put in place to support that vision. If it keeps changing the vision, or there is a revolving door where every time there is new management comes in, they keep shifting them around, it destroys the very fabric, the very coherence of the organization. So, give you a quick example. A worst performing division within a large company, I won't name it. A manager comes in to transform, to turn around this division. It's a big division, 1,300 people. The first thing he does is not going around and what he does, it goes around and asks people, what is the problem? What is the story of the organization, individually and collectively? And he finds out that the story is we are victims. Nobody loves us. We're a part of an organization that is an administrative part. It's on the front end. All the salespeople get the bonuses. We get hard work and not being seen or rewarded. We feel like we're at the back of the bus and everybody else is at the front of the bus. So that's the story, you see, because if as a living being, we want to get the understanding of the story of the organization. He feeds back to the organization, is it true that we are victims? They go, yep, we are. Okay. And fair enough. He says, I understand that. But if we think like that, we simply cannot shift to a new way of operating, to a better way, to a higher performance, because we are victims, right? We are not victims, he says. We are the foundation of this company. Without us, without the administration, company cannot process cash flow and the company will die. He fundamentally shifts the whole story of the organization to we are the foundation, and he rewards those who believe and behave in this way. He consistently over 2 or 3 years, yes, it took time, repeats and walks the talk as if the organization is the foundation of the larger corporate. And guess what happened? Within 2.5 years, well, actually within 6 months, there was already phenomenal changes. Within 2.5 years, this organization of 1,300 people collectively flips to the best performing organization in the large corporation of 60,000, 70,000 people. That is the power of alignment. That is the power of energetic alignment. And this is one of the best examples I've seen of how a leader can shift collectively a large amount of people within a reasonable period of time. Now, for larger corporations, obviously, it could take a few years. For smaller companies, that could happen in months. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this session, please like, share, and if you want to speak to me directly, I'd be happy to do that. Direct message me or visit quantumleaders.com.